A former 5th overall draft pick just got waived by his team, hours after going live on social media and calling out LeBron James, Stephen Curry, and Michael Jordan by name. The fallout from Jaden Ivey's public rants has now taken an even more unexpected turn, with new footage allegedly showing LeBron being kicked out of a Los Angeles Lakers training session after the controversy exploded online. So let's break down exactly what Jaden Ivey said, what was happening behind the scenes, and why this situation has completely shaken the NBA world. On March 30th, 2026, Jaden Ivey, a 24-year-old guard sitting on the sidelines, while rehabbing a knee injury, opened up Instagram Live. The Chicago Bulls waived guard Jaden Ivey for conduct detrimental to the team that same day, hours after he posted a lengthy video rant on social media about religion and other topics that included anti-gay sentiments. But this was not a random outburst from some fringe player. Jaden Ivey, a former number 5 overall draft pick by the Detroit Pistons in the 2022 NBA draft, was thought by many to be a star on the rise, leading up to his gruesome leg injury in the 2024 to 2025 NBA season. During that live stream, Ivey did what nobody saw coming. Those posts included anti-LGBTQ remarks on Instagram Live, criticism of the NBA's Pride Month promotion, calling Catholicism a false religion, and taking shots at LeBron James, Steph Curry, and Anthony Edwards for not being true Christians. He went after the biggest names in the sport. Ivey appeared to criticize Steph Curry and LeBron James, questioning their devotion to Christianity. He didn't hold back. He didn't soften the blow. He called them out directly on a global platform with tens of thousands of people watching. Ivey named names when delivering his Instagram address, calling out Curry, James, and Jordan for their apparent lack of religious zeal. He said winning championships and doing your own will instead of God's will was pointless. He singled out Curry, saying he hadn't truly surrendered, and that people only believed he was a Christian because of a Bible verse on his sneakers. Then he turned to LeBron and Jordan, saying all their rings wouldn't matter. On Judgment Day, the clip circulated at breakneck speed. The clip circulated quickly. The response followed just as fast. Within hours, the Chicago Bulls moved to sever ties with Ivey completely. The Bulls acted within hours of the video circulation and waived Ivey with the official statement saying it was conduct that violated team standards. But Ivey did not go quietly. In an Instagram Live conducted on an airplane hours after the Bulls let him go, Ivey again spoke at length about religion. He said the championship rings LeBron James and Michael Jordan earned are not gonna matter on Judgment Day. He got on that airplane, opened a second live stream, and kept going. A flight attendant even asked him to stop because the plane was about to take off. At one point, a flight attendant asked him to end the session because the plane was ready to depart and the cell phone could interfere with the communication systems. He continued to discuss religion for about another minute before wrapping it up. He pushed back directly on the team's decision. He said the label of conduct detrimental to the team was a lie. They're liars, bro. This is lying. They're lying, saying my conduct is detrimental to the team. That's a lie. Ask any one of them coaches in there. Was I a good teammate? All I'm preaching about is Jesus Christ, and they waived me. They say I'm crazy, right? I'm psycho. He insisted he had been doing everything required of him, rehabbing, lifting, staying in shape, and that he was being punished for his faith. The reaction from the basketball world was immediate and divided. James has not publicly responded. Curry stayed silent too, but the internet exploded. Some called Ivey courageous, others called him unhinged. And LeBron, whose name now sat at the center of the whole firestorm, said nothing at all. So what drove Jaden Ivey, a player with undeniable talent and an elite basketball pedigree, to this point? And what was really going on inside the Bulls organization before that live stream ever went live? To understand that, you have to go back to the beginning. Jaden Edward Denonjay Ivey was born on February 13, 2002, in Mishawaka, Indiana, into a household where professional sports wasn't a dream. It was the family business. Ivey is the son of Neely Ivey, the coach for the Notre Dame women's basketball team. His mother wasn't just a coach, though. Ivey's mother, Neely Ivey, serves as head women's basketball coach at Notre Dame. She played in the WNBA for 5 seasons and was an All-American player at Notre Dame. And the athletic roots ran even deeper on his father's side. Jaden's father, Javon Hunter, played for the Baltimore Ravens and San Francisco 49ers in the NFL. His grandfather, James Hunter, also played in the NFL for the Detroit Lions. Three generations of professional athletes, all flowing into one kid from Indiana who was growing up surrounded by the sights, sounds, and expectations of elite competition. Ivey grew up playing football, basketball, and soccer, and practicing karate. He started focusing on basketball as a freshman in high school. He spent his first 3 years at Marion High School in Mishawaka before making a significant leap. For his senior season, he transferred to La Lumiere School in La Porte, Indiana, joining one of the top programs in the country. La Lumiere was a basketball factory, a place that regularly sent players to the highest levels of college ball and the NBA. Ivey was betting on himself, and the gamble paid off handsomely. A consensus 4-star recruit, he committed to playing college basketball for Purdue, over offers from Butler and Notre Dame. Turning down Notre Dame, where his own mother coached, showed a young man who was determined to carve out his own legacy, separate from the towering shadow of his family's accomplishments. At Purdue, Ivey didn't just fit in, he exploded onto the scene. As a sophomore, he averaged 17.3 points, 4.9 rebounds, and 3.1 assists per game. Ivey was named to the first-team All-Big Ten as well as the All-American second team. He hit the kind of highlight reel shots that make NBA scouts reach for their phones. On January 30th, 2022, he scored 21 points and hit the game-winning three-pointer with 0.6 seconds remaining. In an 81-78 win over Ohio State, he was a walking basketball highlight. Electrifying speed, jaw-dropping athleticism, and ability to get downhill and finish at the rim that made defenders look like they were standing in quicksand. Listed at 6'4" with a 200-pound frame and a 6'9" 9.5 wingspan, Ivey has prototypical dimensions for shooting guard and ranks among the most explosive prospects in recent memory. Possessing an electric first step, an extra gear with the ball, and impressive leaping ability with a head of steam, Ivey's athletic gifts give him considerable upside. When he declared for the 2022 NBA draft after his sophomore year, nobody was surprised. Purdue All-American guard Jaden Ivey became Purdue's highest NBA draft pick in almost 30 years. When he was selected 5th by the Detroit Pistons in the 2022 NBA draft held at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. And it was personal. Ivey's mother, Notre Dame women's head coach Neely Ivey, played for the WNBA's Detroit Shock. His grandfather, James Hunter, played for the NFL's Detroit Lions. And his father, Javon Hunter, a former NFL wide receiver, was born in Detroit. 3 generations of his family had ties to the city of Detroit. Going 5th overall to the Pistons was like a homecoming wrapped in a dream. The Ivey family now joins exclusive company, as Jaden and his mother Neely become only the second mother-son duo to be drafted by the NBA and WNBA after Neely was selected by the Indiana Fever in 2001. The only other mother-son duo? JaVale McGee and Pamela McGee. On draft night, Ivey was visibly emotional. He was visibly emotional after his name was called at Madison Square Garden. After breaking down in tears during an ESPN interview with his mother by his side, Ivey also got to meet Spike Lee backstage. The future looked limitless. He was supposed to be the other half of Detroit's young backcourt alongside Cade Cunningham, the foundation of a franchise rising from the ashes. Nobody watching that tearful celebration in Brooklyn could have predicted what would happen next. Ivey's NBA career started with a flash. He made his Summer League debut on July 7th against the Portland Trail Blazers with 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists in an 81-78 win. On October 19th, Ivey made his regular season debut, putting up 19 points, along with 3 rebounds and 4 assists, in a 113-109 win over the Orlando Magic. The speed, the athleticism, the fearlessness attacking the basket, it was all there, translating from Purdue to the professional level with dazzling ferocity. Over his first 2 seasons in Detroit, he showed tantalizing flashes of the player he could become. On February 7th, 2024, Ivey scored a career-high 37 points and added 6 rebounds and 7 assists in a 133-120 win over the Sacramento Kings. He was a microwave scorer with the kind of explosive first step that left defenders grasping at air. Then came the 2024-25 season, and Ivey seemed to hit a different gear entirely. He was averaging 17.6 points per game and shooting 40.9% from three-point range. Through the first 30 games of the 2024-25 season, he was thriving under new head coach J.B. Bickerstaff. Ivey was thriving under new head coach J.B. Bickerstaff, slowly putting to rest the notion that he and Cunningham couldn't coexist at a high level. And then on New Year's Day 2025, everything shattered. Literally. On January 1st, 2025, Ivey suffered a broken left fibula after colliding with Orlando Magic guard Cole Anthony while attempting to retrieve a loose ball. The next day, it was announced that Ivey would likely miss the remainder of the season. After undergoing surgery, he left the court on a stretcher. Ivey left the court on a stretcher. The injury was gruesome, the kind that leaves a sickening pit in your stomach. When you watch the replay, his breakout season, the one that was supposed to cement his place as a franchise cornerstone, was gone. Just like that. One collision, one loose ball, one moment of bad luck. The recovery was long and agonizing. When the 2025-26 season rolled around, Ivey looked poised to return. But the basketball gods were not finished with him yet. During the 2025 preseason, Ivey suffered a knee injury against the Memphis Grizzlies, sidelining him for the rest of the preseason. He underwent arthroscopic surgery to relieve right knee discomfort and missed at least 4 weeks of regular season play. When he finally got back on the floor, the magic from the previous year seemed to have evaporated. After one preseason game, Ivey underwent arthroscopic surgery on his right knee, forcing him to miss the first 15 games of the season. After making his debut on Nova 22, Ivey showed flashes of his talent, but he never appeared to be the same player he was before the injuries. Ivey made 33 appearances, including 2 starts, for Detroit in the 2025-26 NBA season, averaging 8.2 points, 2.2 rebounds, and 1.6 assists. Those numbers told a grim story, from 17.6 points per game to 8.2, from a starter with all-star upside to a diminished bench player on a minutes restriction. The Pistons, who were surging toward the top of the Eastern Conference without him, decided to move on. After a slow start to his 2025-2026 season, Ivey was traded to the Chicago Bulls at the trade deadline, in a deal that brought Kevin Huerter to Detroit. Detroit got Kevin Huerter, Dario Saric, and future draft assets. Chicago got a lottery ticket, a former top 5 pick who might, with the right environment and a healthy knee, rediscover the player he once was. It was supposed to be a fresh start. Instead, it became the prologue to the most controversial exit in the NBA this season. Later, speaking on the Pinpoint podcast, Ivey would reveal something deeply unsettling about what he went through. During that initial injury recovery, on March 31st, Ivey spoke for nearly 2 hours on the Pinpoint podcast, revealing that he considered suicide after suffering a broken leg in 2025. "I had pills in my hand, and my wife was telling me, 'Don't do this.'" That admission reframed the entire timeline. The injury, the surgeries, the diminished play, the trade, and underneath all of it, a young man who was drowning in darkness and clinging to anything that might pull him out of it. When the Bulls acquired Ivey on February 3rd, 2026, they believed they were getting a reclamation project with a very high ceiling. A former top pick in the 2022 NBA draft, Ivey was once considered one of basketball's best prospects. Chicago hoped to resurrect the 24-year-old's career. After some challenging seasons with the Pistons, the early results were promising enough. He made 4 appearances for the Bulls, recording averages of 11.5 points, 4.8 rebounds, and 4.0 assists. But the knee wasn't cooperating. On March 26th, Ivey was ruled out for the remainder of the season. Due to a left knee injury, the Bulls shut him down. He was now sidelined again, watching from the periphery, while his new teammates tried to finish the season. And it was during this period of forced inactivity, this suffocating stillness after years of injury and uncertainty, that something inside Jaden Ivey shifted dramatically. Ivey has gone live on his Instagram account more frequently in the past week, posting at least 3 lengthy videos after he was shut down for the rest of the season by the team because of injury last Thursday. The videos grew longer, more intense, more confrontational with each passing day. He talked about faith, about sin, about what he believed was truly important in life. And then came the February 19 moment that foreshadowed everything. On Feb 19, Ivey was DNP'd. He gave an impromptu post-game sermon in the locker room, telling reporters that the old him was dead. But the situation inside the building was far more complicated than what the public was seeing. Even before Ivey arrived in Chicago, warning signs were flashing. Before Ivey even stepped foot on Chicago soil, there were rumblings from Detroit that the shooting guard was a preacher, they undersold it. What followed was an escalating pattern that left teammates, staff, and media members increasingly uncomfortable. His interviews became sermons in which he was asking reporters if they'd been saved and if they'd fornicated before marriage. He reportedly would turn his interviews into sermons and ask people if they were saved and if they fornicated before marriage. Inside the locker room, the situation intensified. It initially started as a personal expression, but gradually became a point of discomfort for teammates. Ivey's constant preaching and strong religious messaging reportedly crossed into daily interactions, creating tension within what players often view as a private, safe space. The locker room, described as a sanctuary by many around the league, was no longer functioning that way. Teammates were said to feel uncomfortable with how frequently those views were shared, especially when lines were drawn about who was righteous and unrighteous. He was reportedly judging Bulls players based on whether he deemed them righteous or unrighteous, creating invisible moral hierarchies within the team. Chicago Sun-Times reporter Joe Cowley said that, in addition to asking reporters whether they have had premarital sex, Ivey made players uncomfortable and told teammates who was righteous and unrighteous in the locker room. The reporting was damning. His Bulls teammates were left shaking their heads at just the latest distraction provided by their front office. Not one Bulls player was shedding a tear for Ivey's removal from the roster. Ivey was outspoken about his religious beliefs in Detroit, but his intensity ratcheted up during his tenure in Chicago, which agitated some team staff members who described Ivey as preachy around the locker room. Sources told ESPN his social media rants often lasted nearly an hour and ventured into a variety of topics, including his own bouts of depression, finding religion, wicked music lyrics, anti-Catholicism, abortion, and asides about his love for apple pie. It was this backdrop, the growing internal tension, the hour-long Instagram live sessions, the sermonizing in the locker room, that led directly to the eruption on March 30th. Coach Billy Donovan addressed the situation with carefully chosen words. "I think there's a certain level of standards and expectations that are here." Donovan said, "We have people from all different walks of life working in the building, and players from all different walks of life. But one is, we've got to all be professional." Former teammate Josh Giddey kept it more personal. "Obviously, the whole thing is kind of unfortunate in a way," Giddey said. "I hope he gets the help he needs, whatever he's going through or not going through. I do really hope he gets help. It's not going to be with the Bulls anymore, but wherever it is, I hope he gets it." The word help, used more than once by Giddey, hung in the air like a heavy fog. This wasn't just about basketball anymore. Once Ivey was waived, the story only accelerated. Fake quotes began flooding social media. People fabricated stories claiming Victor Wembanyama, LeBron James, and others had come out in support of Ivey. The posts claiming Wembanyama and others announced they stand with Jaden Ivey on everything he said are false. However, AFP found no reliable news reports crediting such a quote to the athletes. Named on social media, the videos attached to the posts do not show them making the statement in question either. The clips were taken from separate, unrelated press conferences. Fake reports even circulated claiming Ivey had signed with the Los Angeles Lakers, generating thousands of shares before being debunked. Jaden Ivey is not signing with the Los Angeles Lakers, but fake social media reports claiming otherwise spread on social media. Real support, however, did come from certain corners. New England Patriots running back Trevion Henderson expressed support for Ivey. Other NFL players such as Wanya Thomas, Blake Ferguson, and Damian Lewis supported Ivey's statements. Back in Detroit, his former coach struck a strikingly empathetic tone. "For him to go through what he's gone through, I know, has been extremely difficult for him." Pistons coach J.B. Bickerstaff said, "As far as the way he was playing, the injuries, the comeback, and trying to overcome that." Bickerstaff didn't weigh in on the content of Ivey's statements. He zeroed in on something else entirely: the toll that injury, dislocation, and personal crisis can take on a young person. "I don't think we can overlook the human aspect of all these things, and how that impacts people in their decisions." That phrase, the human aspect, became the quiet counterpoint to all the noise. Because beneath the inflammatory rhetoric, the name-dropping of basketball legends, and the provocative hot takes about Pride Month and organized religion, there was a 24-year-old man who had suffered a broken leg, contemplated taking his own life, gone through surgery after surgery, been traded by the team that drafted him, and was now sitting alone, sidelined again, watching his career slip through his fingers. Initially drafted by the Detroit Pistons with the number 5 pick in the first round in 2022, Ivey credits his conversion to Christianity with helping him overcome a strong sexual addiction and otherwise reckless life. Before I came to the Lord Jesus Christ, the NBA was everything to me. Ivey acknowledged, "I didn't know God. I didn't know Jesus when I came to the NBA. I was a fornicator. I was a pornography addict, and I used to get drunk. That's all I knew. And after a win, and after all those points, I felt good. I felt like I had everything set out for me." But Ivey found those highs to be temporary and artificial. After hitting a game-winning shot one night, he decided there had to be a better way. His wife Caitlin's situation also added another deeply troubling layer. In one of his many live streams, his wife's voice could be heard in the background, pleading with him. His wife Caitlin's recent comments on Instagram have also pointed to the fact that Ivey may have some deeper issues after she faced backlash online from fans claiming that she has betrayed him. As the former Pistons guard stated in one of his many rants online, that she wasn't texting him back, but in her words she said they were communicating every day, inferring that she is trying to help him. After the waiver, despite being cut by the Chicago Bulls and his NBA career being at risk, Jaden Ivey has continued to lean into his religious outbursts. He kept live streaming, he kept preaching. He was spotted street preaching his faith shortly following his departure from the Chicago Bulls on Good Friday. The question of LeBron James, the reason most people clicked on this story, remains strangely anticlimactic. Los Angeles Lakers star LeBron James wasn't the focus of Jaden Ivey's message. He still ended up in it. LeBron's name was used as a rhetorical device, a symbol of earthly achievement that Ivey wanted to contrast with spiritual salvation. He wasn't banned from practice because of something he did with LeBron. There was no secret meeting, no joint workout gone wrong, no confrontation between the two players. What got Ivey removed from the Bulls was the accumulation of his behavior inside the locker room, in front of reporters, and across his increasingly volatile social media presence. The LeBron call-out was just the most famous, most viral piece of a much larger and much more unsettling puzzle. Stephen Curry has actually been very open about his faith for years. Same with LeBron James and even Michael Jordan. So it's not as simple as they don't know Jesus. One fan response noted, capturing the frustration many felt at being told who does and doesn't have a genuine spiritual life. As it stands now, Ivey's NBA future remains uncertain, as he must now find a new team willing to take a chance on him. Despite the controversy surrounding his recent remarks and release from the Bulls, the overseas route could also be an option, if no NBA teams are willing to sign him. According to Mike Vorkunov of The Athletic, Ivey will still receive the full remaining portion of his $10 and $1 million salary. For 2025 to 26, he'll get paid. But money isn't the question anymore. The real question, the one that doesn't have a clean answer, is whether Jaden Ivey is a man standing firm in his convictions or a young man in crisis who needs the kind of support that a basketball organization alone cannot provide. While there has been no official indication that Ivey is experiencing any sort of crisis, the episode highlights how public outbursts from athletes can blur the line between disorderly conduct and potential mental health struggles. His former coach JB Bickerstaff was perhaps the most honest voice in all of this when he said the human aspect cannot be overlooked. The injuries, the surgeries, the broken fibula, the suicidal ideation, the trade, the second shutdown, the isolation, and then the Instagram rants that cost him his job. Whether you agree with a single word Jaden Ivey said or not, that timeline is a roadmap of a human being under extraordinary pressure. Whether those decisions show signs of hypocrisy, business reality, or simply the complexity of policing a professional sports league remains a matter of debate. But as fans continue to scrutinize how the league handles misconduct, the question remains, who gets a second chance and why? As for LeBron, he has stayed silent. No tweets, no statements, no cryptic Instagram posts. Just silence, which, for a man who has spent 2 decades in the public eye, might be the loudest response of all.